how to use conditional formatting in Excel. Let's say you want to highlight a specific cell, or you want to highlight a specific row whenever the criteria is met. You can use conditional formatting to help you better visualize the data. So here we're gonna see 5 different practical examples on how can we use conditional formatting in Excel. We're going to start with the basic stuff, that is to highlight a specific cell whenever the criteria is met, and then we can move on to more complex rules that require more dexterity, let's say. So let's find out how can we create those different conditional formattings in Excel to help us better visualize the data and also to automate our sheet in Excel. In this first example, we can start with something simple, that is to highlight specific cells whenever the criteria is met. And my criteria here is $6,000 as the target. And whenever any cell that I have within the total column, let's say is above $6,000, I want to highlight this specific cell, such as this one right here, and let's say this one right here, and on and on. And of course, I can also change the number, the criteria, anytime. So if I change the criteria, the cells, the highlight is going to be automatically updated for me. So let's do it. The first thing that we can start with is select everything that we want to apply this conditional formatting. So let me select arrange like this, and then I go to home, here to the right, conditional formatting. I can choose highlight cells rules, and as you guys can see, there is a lot of different options throughout this list that Excel gives to me. So I have highlight cell rules with a lot of different options, top bottom rules, top 10, top 10%, data bars, color scales, icon sets, and on and on. And I can also create a new rule or a custom rule with formulas and functions. We're gonna see how to do it. But for now, let's stick with the first option, highlight cells rules. And then here, I want to highlight all those cells that are greater than the first option. Click here. And in this new window that is appear here for me, I can select the criteria, or I can input the criteria in this blank bar that I have. Let me select the value that I have within this bar and read it off the value. And now I can select this cell, just click over the cell where I have my criteria. Or, of course, you can manually input here the value, $6,000, but I think it's easier to just click over the cell. And you can also choose the way you want to highlight those cells. If you want to use red, yellow, green, or on and on, I want to use a custom format. So I'm going to choose this option. Let's go to fill, and then more colors. Here I can choose a specific color, or I can customize my own color. But let's stick with standard, and then I want to have this one right here, maybe. Okay, and yeah, I'm done. Let's click OK again. So let's test and check if everything is correct. Let me change this 60,000 to maybe 55 or $50,000. Enter, and yeah, okay, it's working, because as we can see, more cells just pop up with a new color that we choose before. So this is how we can highlight specific cells in Excel whenever those cells match with a specific criteria. Now, the second example that we have something more complex that requires more dexterity to solve this question, let's say. Here we need to highlight the entire row if it's above the target value. Basically, it's the same thing as before, but instead of highlight just a specific cell, I want to highlight the entire row. And to do it in Excel, unfortunately, there isn't any standard rule that we can use. So we're gonna need here to create our own rule. Because if you want to highlight just specific cells, it doesn't matter if you are using numbers or texts, or if you are using text with numbers. The rules that Excel gives to you is just to highlight specific cells, just one single cell. If you want to highlight the entire row, you're gonna need to click in new rule. But before we click in new rule, let's select everything that we want to apply this conditional formatting. And now I want to actually select everything but the headers, okay? Don't need to select the titles of the data set. Now I'm gonna click Home tab, conditional formatting, and new rule. Here I can customize my own formula to the conditional formatting, whereupon I'm gonna choose use a formula to determine which cells to format. In this blank bar, I'm gonna just click in this bar, and then whenever the total, that is this cell right here, total, is equal to my criteria that I have here, my target, I want to highlight those cells. And in order to be able to highlight all the rows that I have, I need to read off the second $sign that I have before the number, because I don't want to apply this conditional formatting just to the row number 2. I want to apply to all the rows that I have. So this is why it's important to read it off the second $sign. Now let me click here, format, and choose the conditional formatting that you want to use. More colors, and I want to stick with this greenish right here. Okay, and just before I press OK, I think I made a mistake here, because instead of using equal sign to match the value in the cell with the target, I don't want to match the values, but I want to highlight the rows that is above the target, not equal to the target. So instead of using here the equal sign, I need to use the greater than sign. Okay, greater than. Greater than is this symbol right here. Okay, greater than. Let me click here. Okay, and yeah, as you can see, now I have a couple of different rows that are being highlighted for me. And if I change here, instead of using 75,000, I want to use, let's say, a smaller number, such as 35,000, enter. Okay, so more rows now are being highlighted because, of course, there's more values that are greater than 35,000 than 70,000. This is how we can highlight an entire row in Excel using conditional formatting. Now the third example, we have something similar, but instead of using, again, numbers, matching numbers, we can match in text. So let's say, whenever I have a specific department here, such as sales, I want to highlight everything in the department columns that is equal to sales. Or if I change, instead of using sales, I want to use maintenance. Everything that is equal to maintenance here is going to be automatically highlighted. And again, because I want to highlight just specific cells, I want to select everything that I have in the column. I don't need to select everything because I don't want to highlight the entire row. Let me click Home tab, Conditional Formatting, and instead of create a new row, of course, you can create a new row, you can customize your formulas, but there's no necessity to do it here because whenever you want to highlight specific cells, not the row, but just the cell, you can use the rules that Excel already has, such as equal to or text that contains. And here I want to stick with equal to. Click here, and then I want to highlight cells if they are equal to this cell that I have, maintenance. Instead of using the light red, I want to use yellow. Okay, and I'm done. So pretty much simple to do this conditional formatting. I can also change, instead of using maintenance, I want to use logistics. Click here, and yeah, so as you can see, everything is going to be automatically updated for us. In the fourth example that I have, let's do something different. I can use here create highlights to show the highest and lowest values. As I have a lot of different reviews received for delivery time, customer service, and also product quality, I can't see, just my opinion, okay, but I can't see properly in the values that I have. What is the largest one? What is the lowest one? What is the best month? What is the worst? Because I don't know, everything here seems equal to me because there is too much information in the screen. But I think if we apply here conditional formatting, it's going to be much easier to analyze the data instead of just using this raw data set. So take a look here. In this first data set, I have the months and also the rating that the company got. I want to select all those values and then Home tab, conditional formatting. And here I want to use something different. I want to use data bars or color scales or also icon sets. Let's start with data bars. I can choose here any type of data bar to create a bar within the cell where we have the values. I want to use maybe this blue one. Click here. And yeah, as you can see, now the largest value that is equal to 10 has the largest bar. And the smallest value, such as 4, has the smallest bar. So this is an excellent way to compare the informations. Another way that we can compare values is, let's say, select everything here, and then Home tab, conditional formatting again, and now we're going to use color scales. I can actually create here a gradient, as for example, the largest value is equal to green, and the lowest one is equal to red, and everything in between is going to be in a gradient scale. I can select any different option that I have here, but I'm going to stick with the first one, the traditional one. Just click here, and as you can see, now the largest value is equal to green, the lowest one is equal to red, and everything is between is whether orange or orange-ish, light green, and yellowish, and on and on. So I have a couple of different colors scale in this particular conditional formatting. Now the last one that I think it's very important to know how to use is the icons. Home tab, conditional formatting, icon sets. And here we can select a lot of different icons to represent the values. I have the 3 arrows, the 3 triangles, and on and on. I think I'm gonna keep with the second option, like this. The largest value has this greenish rectangle. The smallest one has this reddish rectangle. And the values that are in between have this yellowish one. So this is how we can use different styles of conditional formatting to represent and better visualize the data. The last example that I can use here is combine different conditional formattings. So let's say, as my criteria, I can have good, average, or poor, and I need to highlight the rows according to the criteria. So if the total is above 25,000, I want to highlight with a greenish color. If it's in between 25 and 45, I want to highlight with this yellowish color. And if it's below 25, I want to highlight with this head wish color. Above, I'm gonna use, instead of 25, I'm gonna use 45, okay? 25 make no sense because 25 is the average range, okay? Between 25 and 45. So let's get started. Select everything that I have in the dataset, but the titles, as we learned before, and click here, Home tab, conditional formatting. And as I want to apply this conditional formatting to the entire row, I need to create my own custom rule. So new rule. Here, I'm gonna use the last option, use a formula to determine which cells to format. And whenever, let's click in this bar, the cells that I have in the total is greater than 45,000. So 45,000, I want to highlight it with a greenish color. And as we learned before, I need to read it off, delete the second $sign. Format, I want to use more colors, or let's stick with font. And then I want to use a bold one. As color, I want to use a white one. And as the fill, I want to use a greenish one, dark green, okay? Okay, it's already working. The first conditional formatting. Now the second one that we can apply here is below 25,000. So let's again select everything that we have. Home tab, conditional formatting, new rule, as we learned it before. Last option, click in this empty bar. And whenever the cells that I have, the value is less than, instead of using now greater than, we need to use less than, okay, less than 25,000. Format, I want to use a head wish one, or I want to use this orange one, okay, okay, and yeah. Now the last conditional formatting that we can apply here is this average between 25 and 45. So again, I'm gonna select everything, Home tab, conditional formatting, new rule, last option. Here we're gonna need to learn something different because it's gonna return an error. So take a look here. Let me select the first cell as we learned before. And everything that is greater than 25,000, I want to highlight with a yellow color or a yellowish color. Format, let's select this one right here. Okay, okay. And as you can see, maybe there is a problem because where it was green, now is with this yellow color. This happened because as we have here between 25 and 45, or as I use it in my formula, greater than 25,000, what happened is everything that is greater than 25,000 is being highlighted with this yellowish color. So this is why you got the problem, because I know that everything that is above greater than $45,000 is being highlighted with the green color. But as we did the average rule after everything, or this was the last rule that we created, the last rule is gonna overlap the previous one. So this is why we got the error. And to make sure we can adjust the settings, I can click here, Home tab, conditional formatting, and manage rules. Here we can see everything that we did, such as the average, the poor, and the good. If you want to show the green rule above everything, basically need to literally take the green rule and put it above everything. So click in the green one and just press this button right here, move up like this. And then you can apply, okay, and yeah, we're done. So this is how we can create many different conditional formattings in Excel, and also how can we adjust the settings if we get some errors. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or any suggestions to the next videos, let me know, comment down below, and I see you tomorrow. As every day has a new video, I see you there.